video begins with a man who appears agitated. By now, 40-year-old Robert Dziekanski has been in the secure area of Vancouver International for almost 10 hours. Passengers are trying to talk to him in English, but he doesn't seem to understand.
I think he speaks Russian.
Is that what he's speaking? I don't even know.
What language do you speak?
He doesn't even speak English either.
Russian?
Later, passengers can also be seen attempting to calm him down. With the woman on this side of a glass wall and he on the other, Dziekanski can be seen picking up a computer and throwing it.
He's freaking out. Look, he's got the computer.
Right in front of the cops, too.
Now breaking computers. See, here he goes. There goes the class.
In fact, he threw the computer and a chair in front of two YVR security guards who make no attempt to restrain him. The RCMP won't arrive for another 1 minute 45 seconds.
What do you got? What do you got?
He's right inside here. He speaks Russian. Right on the other side of the tunnel. He speaks Russian and that's it. No English.
Despite two clear warnings that he does not speak English, the RCMP speak to Dziekanski in English for about 29 seconds before they taser him. At one point just before this, Dziekanski can be seen putting his hands up and walking away, seemingly in frustration. You can hear someone yell, "Hit him again, hit him again." Aside from having a stapler in his hands, Dziekanski was unarmed. Two RCMP officers climb onto him, two more join in, one officer appearing to place his knee on the victim's neck, and it appears to remain there even after Dziekanski stops breathing.
How is he still fighting him off?
About here, Dziekanski seems to stop breathing, and the officer with his back to the camera still has his right knee on the victim's neck.
I heard him saying code red.
One officer begins to take a closer look at Dziekanski. On the right of your screen, someone in a suit appears to check for a pulse. On the left of your screen, you can see an officer winding up the taser's wires. An autopsy would later reveal Dziekanski had no drugs or alcohol in his body at the time of death.
Now, the man's mother has seen parts of that video and says she'll view the rest eventually. But right now, as you can imagine, her emotions are too raw. She is speaking tonight through her lawyer, and she is surrounded with support from the Polish community. Sophie Louis reports.
Okay, he threw a computer down.
Right in front of the cops, too.
It's difficult to watch, but Danuta and Ludwik Tokarczuk feel they need to see this, the last hours and moments of Robert Dziekanski's life. They've been rallying the Polish community around Dziekanski's mother, Zofia Szysowski, since her only child died at YVR 1 month ago today.
The happiest day of their life turned into the worst nightmare, and I feel very, very sorry for her.
It was the day mother and son were to be reunited. This was his first time on a plane, and according to the Tokarczuks, his mother told him, "It's a big airport in a new country. Stay in the luggage area and I'll find you." But she never did.
So he obviously had, stuck to her instructions and was at that luggage for 6 or 7 hours, and finally got so frustrated and didn't know what to do that came out, and this is what we're witnessing at the end of it all.
Sorry about the wait there.
This is the first time the video has been made public. DVD copies handed out to dozens of reporters only after Dziekanski's mother was first given the chance to see what happened to her son.
Her reaction was that here was her son crying for help, looking for help, and not getting it. Yes, there's many things about it that are hurtful, but at the same token, if it helps get to the bottom of the truth, then she's happy with that.
Her lawyer says they're focusing right now on what they may learn at an inquest. As for a lawsuit, he'll only say she needs compensation.
The security is right. Calm him down. We have to get somebody to calm him down.
Members of the Polish community are trying to help Zofia financially, accepting donations at Valley First Credit Union. Beyond that, they're offering their support and their indignation.
I'm angry. I'm sorry, but I'm angry. I'm really angry. I mean, they have some protocol that they should follow, and if that's what they have, they need to change that in a hurry.
We should point out that we have posted the entire video unedited on our website, and you can go to globaltvbc.com to see it for yourself. But we also played the video today for a couple of law and order professionals, and John Daly has their reaction tonight. And we repeat our earlier warning about the graphic nature of the images in our report.
Shortly after its release, a lawyer who's acted for families in previous taser deaths views the video.
It's very disturbing. To see someone's life end in those circumstances.
He speaks Russian and that's it, no English.
From this point of view, given the man's behavior, Ward says it's hard to see why he would be tasered.
My initial reaction on seeing this is that the use of a taser to shoot this man by one of the 4 officers who was standing near him was excessive use of force in the circumstances. This is a really unfortunate event, and it appears as though a failure to communicate is really responsible for this very unhappy chain of circumstances.
But in Victoria, a taser expert who has not viewed the video and cannot comment on the specifics of the YVR case says tasers under the National Use of Force model can legitimately be used on non-violent individuals.
They could be doing things such as pulling away to avoid a lawful arrest. They could be running away or walking away, and then beyond active resistance is the assaultive behavior up higher on the National Use of Force model, where they would actually be trying to harm the officer or somebody else, or giving the officer what are called pre-assault cues that maybe there's an attack pending.
We have to get beyond the horror and the hysteria and think carefully about the use of these. Obviously, the greatest concern is that they are simply replacing the handgun. I think that that's probably an exaggeration, but we need to be very thoughtful and careful. What is the appropriate procedure?
The man was not violent before he was shot with the taser, and he did not appear to me, watching this video, to be a risk a safety risk to anybody.
Now, police haven't commented directly on the content of the video since they returned it to its owner last week, but they've been urging you to consider that it might not tell the whole story. Meantime, the BC Civil Liberties Association has filed a formal complaint against the RCMP, and 4 separate investigations are underway, none of them independent. More about that from Keith Baldry.
Mike Farnworth, the NDP's public safety critic, watched the taser video today, and his reaction no doubt mirrored that of many people.
That's not a nice thing to see.
But emotions aside, an important issue remains. Should it be up to the RCMP to investigate its own members' role in such a troubling incident?
Given the nature of the events at YVR, the fact that this has achieved provincial, national, and international attention, it's very important that the investigation be as independent, open, and transparent as possible. And a special prosecutor would be able to assist or lead an investigation that I think would meet those requirements.
And Farnworth isn't the only notable person calling for some sort of independent inquiry. The BC Civil Liberties Association has filed a complaint, and today a noted Vancouver civil rights lawyer weighed in as well.
I feel that it would be timely now to review the way the RCMP is acting, both within this province and elsewhere in the country, and assess whether changes need to be made.
The controversy over the taser death is far from being the only questionable conduct incident involving the RCMP in recent years. There are still lingering questions over how and why Ian Bush was shot in the back of the head by an RCMP officer while in custody. A former RCMP commissioner had to resign over an internal scandal, the RCMP's role in the notorious Maher Arar torture case. And now the release and showing of the taser video is yet another public relations nightmare for a once proud force. For now, though, the RCMP is saying little about the events at Vancouver Airport that day.
All I can ask is wait until the totality of the evidence is before them, until they've heard all of the evidence, no different than what they would expect if they were in this same position.
And Corporal Dale Carr says the fact the civilian is assisting in their own homicide investigation brings an important element of independence to it.
We're participating currently with the Commission for Public Complaints in a pilot project where they have free and unfettered access to our file, to the officers in conducting the investigation, to ensure that in real time we are conducting a fair and unbiased investigation.